There's always news stories bouncing around in the media regarding Donald Trump, politics, and the like. But we never get the full story. And I'm afraid that people hear these stories and think they have it all, and then they make their decisions based on that. But that's not good. That doesn't work. Let's talk about one particular story. We know the Supreme Court handed down a decision giving presidents immunity for official acts and not immunity for unofficial acts. So a lot of people take that and say, oh, the president's got immunity. It's a done deal. But it's not, because the Supreme Court didn't dictate what was official and what was unofficial. No, in fact, they sent it back to Judge Chutkan to make that determination. So there's been nothing set in stone. We don't even know what is considered official and what is not considered official. Judge Chutkan is deciding that. So now Donald Trump's legal team and the prosecution are talking about this very subject. And it's interesting about the Donald Trump defense team coming in. They do what salespeople call assume the win. They're assuming things, hoping they'll get away with it. Like they're suggesting that the prosecution can't talk to Mike Pence because he was the vice president, and any conversation that Donald Trump and Mike Pence would have would be official. And they said it was crystal clear in the decision by the Supreme Court. Now, Judge Chutkan sat back and kind of laughed and said, I don't see it that way. If they didn't want the prosecution to talk to Mike Pence specifically, they would have stated that in the decision. And it's not crystal clear because they gave it to me to make that decision. So we really have to wait to see what Judge Chutkan says is official and unofficial. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, yeah, whatever decision she makes, they will appeal and go all the way to the Supreme Court. And that is distinctly possible. But you have to understand, we're going to be in a different climate by the time it gets to the appeal with the Supreme Court. Where we are now, we're months away from an election. Donald Trump still has a little bit of clout, and so do the Republicans. But after that election, Donald Trump's going to get beat. He's going to be a civilian. The Republicans are going to have far less power. Kamala Harris will be the president. Now the Supreme Court has two problems. First of all, they're going to have to narrow down their decision. They just give a wide-ranging decision so they don't have to commit to anything. When that appeal comes back, they will have to commit to something. But while they're committing to something, they'll have to look to Kamala Harris, the House and the Senate and the Democrats, and understand they're under the microscope now. So their decisions and the way they handle things are going to be vastly different than what we're seeing today. So this immunity thing, it's not cut and dried. It's not a done deal. Judge Chutkan gets maybe not the final word, but the word that determines what's official and what's not official. And the reason why Trump and his team don't want Mike Pence to be able to be interviewed, because he's going to have damning information and he's no longer their friend. See, the big problem here is that they don't want evidence to come out before the election, which I think is silly because they think they still have a chance to win. Please, motherfucker, you don't have any chance. But they're fighting against it because Donald Trump says they need to. This is all very interesting. And don't get too wrapped up in this immunity thing until we actually know how it's described. We don't know that until Judge Chutkan lays that out.